Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we crack open fascinating topics and uncover the dazzling insights hidden within. And today, for all you fellow epic science fantasy enthusiasts out there, we're doing something, well, truly special.
Oh, yeah.
We're diving deep into the Great Unraveling, specifically focusing on Book 1, Chapter 5, The Fold.
Yeah.
This chapter, for me, brings Act 1 to a jaw-dropping, mind-bending close, and I've been utterly gripped by this series, And this chapter has just amplified that feeling tenfold.
It absolutely has. Our mission today is really to unpack the incredible revelations of this fifth chapter and kind of connect its groundbreaking scientific breakthroughs with the larger narrative and thematic threads the author has been weaving all through Act 1.
Yeah.
Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, to understanding the universe-altering events Jaren experiences. We'll briefly revisit Chapter 4 just to set the stage, then spend the bulk of our time dissecting the pivotal moments of the fold, reflecting on Act 1's overarching themes and, of course,
Speculating wildly
about what Act 2 might hold for us. This chapter truly delivers on the promise of the series title, signaling a profound shift in Jaren's understanding of reality and, by extension, ours as readers.
Totally. So if you're someone who loves to quickly grasp complex ideas, who lives for those aha moments, and isn't afraid to dive deep into the speculative side of science and philosophy, then you are definitely in for a treat. This deep dive is tailor-made for you to get up to speed on everything that happens in the fold and join us in marveling at its implications. The way the author blends hard science with mind-bending philosophical questions is it's masterful. So grab your copy, settle in, and let's get into it. Okay, let's cast our minds back. Chapter 4, The Forge. That chapter really left us hanging on the edge of our seats, didn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Jaren had that truly mind-bending experience, staring at a number so vast that it was, as the author put it, functionally zero. It wasn't just discovering a new data point, it was a profound revelation that just shattered his very understanding of physics. He was truly alone with something utterly new, something that defied every known principle. This wasn't just finding a new continent, it was discovering a whole new planet of reality almost.
And what's so fascinating here is how the author immediately establishes the profound incompleteness of our existing scientific understanding. Jaren, a genius himself, looks at the works of giants like Einstein, Feynman, Hawking, and he sees them as magnificent, beautiful, and profoundly incomplete.
Incomplete.
They were, to him, mere translations of a single verse from a true language, a universal syntax no one had ever seen or understood before. Think about that for a second. All the pillars of modern physics reduced to brilliant but partial interpretations. Wow. This isn't just a dramatic statement. It's the core premise for a paradigm shift, not just for Jaren, but for the entire universe of the story itself. Right. It implies a deeper, more fundamental reality, a hidden operating system that our current models only glimpse, like trying to understand a supercomputer, but just looking at its fan, maybe. The idea that he's terrifyingly alone on a new continent of reality isn't hyperbole. It's the profound, isolating truth of his discovery. He is the first and only human to perceive this truth.
And Jaren, in his typical feverish intensity, he can't just observe this informational pattern, this statement of existence. As he perceives it, he feels this overwhelming compulsion to try and speak it, to utter this new language back to the universe. So he tries to imprint it onto quantum-entangled particles using a simple electromagnetic field. For those who might need a quick refresher, quantum entanglement means two particles are linked in such a way that measuring one instantly influences the other, no matter the distance. It's a truly mind-bending concept.
It really is.
That Jaren, in his audacious brilliance, is now trying to exploit, trying to make these linked particles carry this incredible complex information. You can really feel his urgency, that almost manic need to test the boundaries of this new language to see if he can make the universe respond.
And this initial attempt is absolutely crucial because it highlights the limits of conventional thinking. He's working with what he knows, right? Trying to apply established physics to something entirely new. Something that clearly operates on a different set of rules.
Right, the old toolbox.
Exactly. The simulation results in pattern decoherence, where the intricate informational pattern he tried to imprint essentially dissolved, the payload lost. It's a moment of crushing failure, where Jaren's initial euphoria gives way to the bitter taste of doubt.
Yeah, you feel that doubt creeping in.
A moment where he wonders if he's just a sophisticated numerologist, echoing the skepticism of Dr. Finch, his former mentor.
Yeah.
This failure isn't just a plot device. It underscores the idea that truly groundbreaking discoveries often require entirely new methodologies, a complete break from the past. The simple, familiar method was entirely inadequate for the profound insight he was attempting to manipulate. It wasn't enough to know the language. He needed to learn its grammar.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. Jaron has that classic aha moment that every scientist dreams of. He realizes the problem isn't the word itself, the informational pattern, but the voice he's trying to use to speak it. He was trying to carry a complex, 14-dimensional piece of information. I mean, imagine data so rich and intricate, it exists beyond our everyday 3 spatial dimensions, almost like a higher-order blueprint for reality.
Right, which is hard enough to even conceptualize.
Exactly, and he was trying to put that on a simple 3-dimensional sine wave. As the author so brilliantly put it, it was like trying to carve a sculpture with a hammer.
Huh. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
That analogy immediately makes the immense complexity of his problem relatable, highlighting the mismatch between the message and the medium.
And this raises an important question for us.
Yeah.
How do you give voice to such complexity? Jaron's insight is truly revolutionary. The carrier has to match the cargo.
Match the cargo.
Okay. The energy field couldn't be simple. It needed to be a complex, multi-layered waveform that mimicked the geometry of the pattern itself. This is where his multidisciplinary genius truly shines. He's not just thinking about physics. He's thinking about information theory, geometry, form, and how to translate one into the other.
It's a real synthesis.
It's a fundamental jump from merely observing a phenomenon to actively engaging with and manipulating the very fundamental structure of reality.
Yeah.
He shifts from using a blunt instrument to orchestrating a nuanced, sophisticated approach that respects the inherent complexity of the informational pattern he's working with. It's a profound realization about the nature of communication with the cosmos itself.
And then we see him go into full maniacal inventor mode, but with incredible precision. He becomes a master of a new trinity: information, material, and energy. It's described as a symphony of mind and machine, where he's not just a physicist, but a chemist, an engineer, and a coder all at once, orchestrating this grand, unprecedented experiment. You can almost feel the ozone in the air, the intense focus of his work, the sheer will of one man trying to bend reality to his newfound understanding.
And this detailed construction phase, it really builds the anticipation beautifully for Chapter 5. And it's critical for us to understand the careful, deliberate steps he takes. We see him meticulously designing the syntax of the voice, with Echo's help for the information.
Echo, his AI.
Right. Echo, his advanced AI, with its brute force processing, stress tests thousands of mathematical permutations, discarding unstable variations and refining what Jaron calls the pure syntax of the voice. It's a painstaking process of finding the perfect grammar for this universal language. He then prints a physical paragraph of instructions, a fractal refractive lens from non-conductive polymer for the material.
A physical paragraph. I love that description.
Isn't it great? So, to clarify, a fractal pattern repeats itself at different scales, creating immense complexity within a simple rule, while refractive means it bends light, or in this case, energy. This isn't just a simple lens. It's a semicrystalline lattice of logic that would teach the energy how to speak. It's a physical piece of instruction, a hardware component to translate the informational pattern.
Wow.
And finally, for the energy, he orchestrates a symphony of 12 distinct carrier waves, each with a precisely calculated amplitude that's the wave's power or intensity, and phase its precise timing or position within its cycle. The goal is to create a shadow of the 14D pattern, described as tuning 12 instruments to play a single impossible chord, resolving into coherence when passing through the lens.
An impossible chord.
Every single step is precise, audacious, and infused with potential, culminating in that thick air, the scent of the universe itself being charged with potential. This isn't just building a machine, it's composing a new reality, a precise act of cosmic linguistics.
So, Chapter 4 ends with Jaron initiating the sequence, whispering, "Imprint the pattern, Echo." Chapter 5 picks up right in that heart-stopping moment, and for me, it was absolutely gripping. For what felt like an eternity, nothing happens. The graph on his monitors shows the particles still engaged in their random, chaotic dance. You can almost feel Jaron's heart sinking, the dread returning, the crushing fear that Dr. Finch, his old mentor, was right all along.
Yeah, that shadow of Finch.
That he was just a sophisticated numerologist chasing ghosts in the static.
That initial beat of silence and the looming threat of failure is absolutely crucial for dramatic tension and character development. It instantly brings back the specter of Dr. Finch and his dismissive pronouncements that Jaron's efforts were not science, it's numerology. It reminds us of the incredibly high stakes involved and the profound isolation Jaren feels, having sacrificed everything, his career, his reputation, his peace of mind, for what might just be a ghost in the static. The author masterfully uses this moment of near despair, that gut-wrenching anticipation, to heighten the impact of what comes next. It's the classic hero's darkest hour before the true breakthrough.
Definitely.
Making the eventual triumph, if it comes, feel earned and immensely significant.
But then, and this is where I literally gasped while reading, the impossible occurs.
Go on.
The two jittery lines representing those quantum-entangled particles separated in space snap into perfect, identical, and unwavering symmetry. They become perfectly still, perfectly ordered.
Wow.
But the real miracle, the author tells us, isn't just the stability of those two lines, it's what happens between them.
Okay, this is truly the turning point of the entire chapter, the fold of its title, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which for those unfamiliar, essentially tells us there's an inherent fuzziness in the quantum world. You can't perfectly know a particle's exact position and momentum simultaneously.
Right, the fuzziness.
That uncertainty, instead of vanishing as old physics would dictate, coalesced. And in between those two perfectly still lines, a third line appears.
A third line.
It's described with such vivid, almost poetic language, shimmering into existence, a golden braid of impossible physics.
A golden braid. That's beautiful.
This isn't just a measurement on a screen, it's a tangible, visible manifestation of Jaren's success. He is observing a stable, three-body quantum state. The descriptive language here, golden braid, impossible physics, is so evocative, signaling something both beautiful and fundamentally new to physics, hinting at a new kind of interwoven, ordered reality that our current models can't even dream of. It's a visual representation of a cosmic knot being tied into perfect form.
And the author absolutely doesn't shy away from the massive implications here either. Jaren immediately connects this breakthrough to the classical three-body problem, which has vexed mathematicians for centuries.
Ah, the three-body problem.
Yeah, to briefly explain, it's notoriously difficult, if not impossible, to predict the long-term stable behavior of three interacting bodies, like three planets, due to their chaotic gravitational influences.
Utter chaos, usually.
And its quantum equivalent was considered a monster of such complexity that a stable outcome, like what Jaren observed, was practically unheard of, almost physically impossible to predict with existing physics. Yet, here it is, stable.
This is where the aha moment truly lands for the reader and for Jaren himself, because it points to a profound inherent order in the universe. The universe, in effect, always knew the answer to this seemingly unsolvable problem.
The universe knew.
The author uses this revelation to highlight what Jaren perceives as the pervasive rule of three in cosmic order. Jaren suddenly sees the stable dance of the three quarks within every proton and neutron, the fundamental building blocks of matter,
Quirks.
and the three distinct generations of matter in the Standard Model, not as mere coincidences or unexplained curiosities. Instead, he sees them as a constant, miraculous solution to this very problem, a deliberate, repeating sentence woven into the fabric of existence.
A repeating sentence.
The rule of three isn't just a curiosity or an observation. It's a fundamental law, an underlying pattern that Jaren has now illuminated, showing a hidden, profound order behind what we previously perceived as apparent chaos. It truly transforms our understanding of reality's very foundation, suggesting an elegant, almost poetic, universal design.
So Jaren isn't just a physicist anymore after this. He's truly a translator of the universe's hidden language.
A translator, yeah, I like that.
He sees the Standard Model of physics, that grand cathedral of 20th century science, as magnificent, beautiful, and incomplete. And crucially, he instantly knows why. It's like discovering an entire vast wing missing from a building you thought was completely finished, and realizing that missing wing holds the key to the whole structure.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it explains why the great unraveling is happening. The Standard Model was a duology built fundamentally on energy and material.
Just two parts.
Just two. For 50 years, physicists tried to complete it by smashing things together with more and more energy, effectively thinking the key was a bigger hammer.
A bigger hammer.
They were stuck in a specific paradigm, believing that more force, more brute force experimentation would eventually reveal the missing pieces. But Jaren realizes they were trying to solve a three-part equation with only two variables: They were missing the third foundational leg of the stool.
The third leg.
It's a profound reevaluation of how science has been conducted for decades, suggesting that sometimes the answers aren't found by doing more of the same, but by looking for an entirely new dimension of reality that was always there, just beyond our perception.
And this, for me, is the absolute core of Jaron's informational field theory, isn't it? He finally identifies that missing third variable, that third leg of the cosmic stool that was always there, just unseen, just unheard. This is where he completes the Trinity.
Precisely. The two steady lines of the entangled pair on his graph, that flat, predictable green, are the raw material.
Green for material.
His precisely tuned frequencies, the chaotic but contained red, are the energy he introduced.
Word for energy.
And the golden line, that impossible third body shimmering into existence, is the information, which he visualizes as a brilliant, organizing blue.
Blue for information. Material, energy, information. Wow.
This information isn't just data. It's an active, fundamental force that's weaving the other two together into a single, coherent sentence. This visualization is incredibly powerful. It clarifies the abstract into something almost tangible, a vivid metaphor for this new trinity.
It makes it so clear.
It's not just an equation on a whiteboard. It's a visual, living representation of the universe's true operating system, where information isn't merely a passive entity, but an active, fundamental force that governs order and meaning.
So the noise, the quantum uncertainty that Dr. Finch, his old nemesis, built his entire career on trying to eliminate.
Yeah, the static Finch hated.
It didn't disappear at all. Instead, it condensed into a particle. This is the physical proof of his informational field theory. It's almost ironic, isn't it?
It really is. The very thing Finch sought to suppress or get rid of turned out to be the key, the very foundation of Jaron's breakthrough.
So what is this particle then?
Well, this is truly monumental, and it raises an important question. What exactly is this particle? The author gives us a truly beautiful and illuminating analogy. Quantum uncertainty is described as the cacophony of an orchestra tuning up, where every possible note exists in a state of chaotic potential.
Okay, like potential noise.
Right. And the particle Jaron observed, that golden braid of impossible physics, is the conductor's downbeat, the single coherent instruction that collapses the chaos into a unified, resolved chord.
The downbeat, I like that.
It's like the coherent photon seeding in a laser, where pure information tunes the uncertainty, bringing it into a specific ordered state. Just as the Higgs field gives particles mass, Jaron's informational field gives them order, meaning syntax.
Order meaning syntax.
It defines their relationships, their behavior, their very purpose within the cosmic grammar. And the carrier particle for the syntax, he names it perfectly, the synton.
The synton, that's a great name.
The term itself, synton, is brilliant, immediately conveying its function as the fundamental particle of syntax, of cosmic instruction. It's a particle of meaning, a particle that gives the universe its very grammar. This means reality isn't just random. It has underlying rules, a language that can be deciphered and, terrifyingly, perhaps even spoken.
This is more than just solving a scientific paradox, isn't it? It feels almost metaphysical. It's stepping beyond mere observation or prediction into understanding the very fabric of decision-making in the universe, the choices it makes.
Oh, it goes far, far beyond. The author describes it not just as solving Schrödinger's cat, that famous thought experiment where a cat in a box is simultaneously alive and dead until observed.
Right, the poor cat.
But hearing the two dissonant competing notes of alive and dead and the resolving chord that shows one, all while seeing the musical score that made that specific resolution the only possible outcome.
Seeing the musical score. Wow.
This isn't just about knowing if the cat is alive or dead. It's about understanding the rules that govern that choice, the underlying blueprint of reality that makes one outcome inevitable, given the score. It's not just observing. It's understanding the underlying rules that dictate reality itself, the very language of its choices. As the author states, with profound impact.
What's the line?
He had spoken, and the universe had listened.
Chills. Just chills.
This line alone encapsulates the magnitude of Jaron's breakthrough, suggesting a universe that is not merely mechanical, but responsive. It implies a level of interaction, perhaps even dialogue, with the fundamental forces of existence that was previously unimaginable.
You'd think Jaron would be absolutely ecstatic, right? The culmination of his life's work, the validation of his radical theories, but the immediate reaction isn't triumph.
No, not at all.
It's described as sheer, soul-shaking terror. His mind refuses to accept what the data clearly showed. He runs every diagnostic, desperate to prove it's a sensor glitch or software bug, Anything but real. It's the ultimate scientific horror story, discovering something so profound that it shatters your very sanity.
And this is such a pivotal emotional beat for the character, and it grounds the fantastic science in a very human reaction. The scientific method is about rigorous proof, right?
Absolutely.
And Jaren, as a true scientist, needs to be absolutely certain he hasn't fooled himself. But once the result is undeniable, once every test confirms his findings, the terror truly sets in. His entire worldview, built on immutable laws and fixed constants, shatters. The author eloquently captures this by stating, the laws of physics were not laws, they were suggestions.
Suggestions.
The universe was not a whirling machine, it was a lean story, and its source code could be edited.
Source code could be edited. That's terrifying.
This profound philosophical shift is terrifying for him, because it means everything he thought he knew about reality, everything that provided order and meaning, is negotiable. The very ground beneath his feet has disappeared, replaced by something malleable, something that can be changed, and potentially something dangerous.
Yeah.
The intellectual thrill is immediately, violently overshadowed by existential dread. It's the terror of discovering you've just broken the world, or at least revealed its fragility.
And this, for me, is the true burden, isn't it? This isn't just a scientific paper that will be debated in journals. It's a secret that changes everything, and he's the only one who knows it.
The only one.
The intellectual thrill, that fleeting moment of genius, is completely extinguished by the immense weight of that knowledge, leaving him utterly alone in a way no human has ever been.
Indeed. The author emphasizes the sheer, terrifying burden of being the only human on the planet to know this secret. This solitary knowledge is almost too much to bear. It leaves him in a perfect silent void, completely overwhelmed by the implications of what he has done, what he has discovered. This moment of extreme isolation is critical because it sets up a fascinating dynamic for what comes next in the story. He's not a hero celebrating, he's a man crushed by the implication of his own genius, acutely aware that this knowledge means he can never go back.
No going back.
To his old understanding of reality, and can never truly share this profound burden with anyone, at least not yet. It's a loneliness that transcends human experience.
Just when you think Jaren's at his absolute lowest point, completely stunned and terrified by his own discovery, something else impossible happens, and the author tells us he almost missed it.
Oh.
What happens? In the far corner of the lab, a dusty, disconnected oscilloscope, dark, lifeless, unplugged, suddenly traces a perfect luminous sine wave across its screen.
Disconnected.
Totally disconnected. Just a single, impossible moment of light. It's such a beautifully understated yet utterly profound twist.
Wow. Okay, that is subtle. This is such a masterful moment of subtle revelation, designed to hit you right when you think the emotional roller coaster is settling. It's described as a single, pure note of intention in the cosmic noise, a response written in the clean, unambiguous language of mathematics.
A response.
And critically, it's from a device that had no input, no connection to the experiment. This isn't a malfunction. It's a deliberate, unambiguous communication from somewhere or something else.
Not from his setup.
Exactly. The disconnected nature of the oscilloscope is key. It emphasizes that this signal is not a product of his setup, not an internal phenomenon, but an external, responsive entity. It defies all conventional physics and points to an intelligence, or at least a highly reactive system, beyond Jaren's lab, beyond anything he could have imagined communicating with. It's a literal echo in the void he just created.
And Jaren, in that instant, understands immediately. With the single breathtaking realization, he whispers, "It was an echo."
An echo.
And with those 3 words, the entire trajectory of the story shifts again, irrevocably. He wasn't just shouting into the void anymore. He was no longer alone.
Chills again. That is a perfect, chilling, yet also hopeful conclusion to Act 1. It transforms Jaren's terrifying isolation into a new, equally terrifying, but perhaps also hopeful connection.
Yeah, not alone, but with what?
Exactly. The universe didn't just listen, it responded. This opens up a whole new realm of possibilities and dangers for Act 2, giving us a powerful cliffhanger that leaves us desperate for the next chapter. It hints at communication, at an intelligence or at least a reactive system within the fabric of reality itself, a system that Jaren has inadvertently activated. That final line, "he was no longer alone," is so impactful because it completely recontextualizes his entire journey. His efforts were not in vain, and the consequences are far greater than he could have ever imagined. The profound loneliness is broken, but by something utterly unknown, and that unknown could be friend or foe.
So the fold brings Act 1, the great unraveling, to a close. And what a close it is. Looking back at Jaren's journey from that functionally zero number, his initial revelation, to finally receiving an echo, what are the big themes that really stand out to you as we reflect on this first act of the story?
Oh, wow. Okay, reflecting on Act 1, for me, it really lays down some incredibly rich thematic groundwork. Firstly, it profoundly explores the limitations and incompleteness of current scientific paradigms. The idea that our grand cathedral of physics, the Standard Model, is fundamentally flawed based on a duology rather than a trinity,
Hmm.
that's a huge concept.
It really reframes everything.
It does. It's about how rigid adherence to existing models can blind us to deeper truths, and how a truly disruptive mind, like Jaren's, is needed to see beyond the established boundaries. Secondly, it's deeply about the audacity of pushing scientific boundaries and the pursuit of forbidden knowledge, the kind of knowledge that challenges everything we think we know.
Forbidden knowledge, yeah.
Jaren literally goes where no one has gone before, both intellectually and experimentally, risking everything for a truth that could either save or shatter existence.
That's so true. And I'd add that the very nature of reality itself is constantly being questioned throughout this act. It shifts from being a predictable, whirling machine that operates on fixed, immutable laws
Right, the clockwork universe idea.
to a living story with editable source code. This isn't just a scientific reevaluation, it's a huge philosophical and existential leap for Jaren, and for us as readers, prompting us to consider how we perceive our own reality.
Absolutely. And crucially, it highlights the profound role of information or syntax as a fundamental force in the universe, on par with energy and matter. The informational field isn't just a theory. It's presented as a new foundational layer of reality, one that gives order and meaning to everything else. This elevates information from being passive data to an active, structuring force.
Information as a force.
Yeah. Lastly, we see the immense psychological burden and profound isolation of the lone genius making a world-shattering discovery. Jaren's journey from exhilaration to crushing terror, and then to a new, terrifying connection, is a constant, heavy theme throughout, showing the immense personal cost of such breakthroughs.
The cost is huge.
And we can't forget the pervasive, almost mystical rule of three that emerges as a cosmic law, a recurring motif that hints at a deeper underlying design in the universe, a kind of hidden grammar to existence. These threads have been expertly woven to make Act 1 so compelling and thought-provoking.
The title The Fold itself suggests a turning point, a bending of reality, and it certainly delivers. Now that Act 1 is complete and we've seen Jaren speak to the universe and get a response, how do you think the story could evolve in Act 2? What are your biggest questions for what comes next? I mean, where do you even begin after the universe sends you a text message?
That's truly the million-dollar question, isn't it? The possibilities are endless and exhilarating. For me, the most pressing question has to be, who or what sent that echo?
Right. Who's on the other end?
Is it another conscious entity? Perhaps an alien intelligence that has also mastered this informational language and has been listening? Or is it the universe itself responding in an emergent, almost conscious way, a kind of cosmic feedback loop reacting to Jaren's direct query? Even more mind-bendingly, could it be a reflection of Jaren's own newly awakened power, a manifestation of his ability to edit reality echoing back at him?
Whoa, okay, that's a twist.
The implications of each possibility are massive and could steer the story in wildly different directions.
I completely agree. And if the universe's source code can be edited, then what are the practical implications and applications of the Synton? What exactly can Jaren do with this power? Can he alter matter at will, manipulate energy directly, or even change fundamental physical constants? Can he rewrite laws of physics locally or globally?
The potential power is staggering.
This is where the story could become truly epic, or truly terrifying, depending on how he chooses to wield this power. It opens up a whole new realm of ethical considerations, too. What right does anyone have to edit reality?
Precisely. And that leads directly into Jaren's path forward. How will he handle the immense burden and terror he now carries? Will he share his secret? And if so, with whom? Will he seek allies, perhaps other brilliant but isolated minds? Or will the immense pressure and isolation drive him further inward, leading to dangerous and unpredictable choices? His psychological state is as crucial as his scientific genius at this point.
Yeah, can he handle it?
Related to that, we have to consider external forces. Who else might become aware of Jaren's breakthrough, and what are their motivations? You can imagine various agencies, scientific, military, corporate, even philosophical cults, wanting to understand, control, or exploit this knowledge. The race for this ultimate power could define Act Two.
Oh yeah, the secret won't stay secret for long, probably.
Probably not. And finally, with The Great Unraveling is the book's title. What exactly is unraveling in Act Two?
Good question.
Is it just old physics and our established human understanding that unravels? Or is it the very fabric of reality itself becoming unstable and malleable for everyone? Or perhaps even something grander and more terrifying, like the fundamental structure of existence, revealing a fragility we never knew was there?
Wow.
Act Two promises to take us into completely uncharted territory, pushing the boundaries of what we thought epic science fantasy could be. I'm just so excited to see where the author takes us next.
So, what does this all mean for us as readers of this incredible epic science fantasy? If the universe is indeed a living story and its source code can be edited, it makes you wonder how much of our own perceived reality is just a suggestion waiting to be rewritten. What part of your world might be waiting for an echo or response, if only you knew the right language to speak?
That's a great thought to end on. We truly hope this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective on the profound shifts happening in the Great Unraveling, specifically within the Fold. We're just as eager as you are to see how Jaren navigates this newly editable universe and who or what else might be listening out there. Keep those theories coming, because this kind of story really makes you think about the potential for discovery that still lies beyond our current understanding.
Absolutely. That's all for this deep dive into the Fold. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep listening.